Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Instaviews. I am Saskia, the assistant editor of Voice Mag, and I really do hope that you are all well. I know it's not as sunny today as it has been all week, but still, it's going to be a good day. So, today, we are going to be joined by Akash Prasad and Moses Alexander, who are going to talk to us about their new short film, All the Same, which is a spoken word film in response to all of the stuff that has kind of gone on in the past year with race and immigration. And yeah, I'm very excited about this one. So let's bring them on, shall we?
Hello, hello. Oh,
Hi!
how's it going?
It's going good, thanks. How are you both? You're kind of to the
Yeah,
sides though.
good. I think we need to get a little bit closer. Yeah, Here we are.
Yeah, you're kind
Yeah,
of
a
on the
little bit
side though.
kind of on the side, yeah.
Yeah,
Should we?
if you can,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe. I think,
there
yeah,
we
that's
go.
it. That's right.
Otherwise, I'm
You
going
know
to be
what?
talking
Yeah.
to you like this the whole
I'm not
time.
gonna put that hook. Do you know what? I don't think we'll ever really get used to this, this, online interview thing. It's true. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to
Thank
get used
you.
to it as well, but now it's kind of like just the norm for me. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but how are you both today?
Very well. Really good. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
And yourself?
yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing.
So,
Yeah.
why don't we get started by I don't know how you want to do it. You can take turns, but why don't you both tell me a little bit about yourselves and your creative backgrounds?
Please, lead the way now. So my name is Moses Alexander, and I am 23 years old. And kind of, I've been acting more or less since I was about 8 years old, on and off. But I started properly when I was 16, and I just kind of always knew that the kind of traditional academic route that school was pushing through a lot of their students wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily where I flourished. I never
Yeah.
felt that I got, praise for doing things that I know other students were getting praised for.
Mhm.
So when I stepped in and started doing acting, I was like, boom, this is what I'm meant to do.
And what about you, Akash?
Um, oh, wow. That's a big mystery. I like to leave people wondering how old I really am. So I'm 23 myself as well. Also, yeah, the reason people wonder that sometimes is because if I grow a bit more of a beard, I do look a few years older. Clean shaven, I do look a bit younger. So it's always funny gauging people's reactions sometimes. I'm mixed race myself. I'm Fijian, Australian, and British born. So I've been acting for around nearly 6 years now.
Mhm.
It's very similar to Moses myself. Like I didn't go the traditional route of drama school or any professional training from an earlier age. It was something I came to quite late.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I just it works out quite well for me. I like to think just being able to go through the independent route, doing a lot of independent theatre and film at the beginning, um, doing a short course, the fundamentals course at RADA quite recently as well, just to kind of brush up on my technique and get some form of formal training there was quite nice. But yeah, very much felt like acting was always where it was at for me, and then writing especially as well, giving myself more of a platform to tell more stories, just having that writer director mindset from quite early on, but also wanting to find a way to make sure they all complement each other
Mhm.
really. But yeah, a bit about my backstory.
Yeah, no, it's never. I mean, you guys are 23. It's not too late. Like, it's never too late to
Yeah.
start.
No, it's what we tell ourselves. Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
literally.
keep telling
We
yourselves
still got a
that.
long way to go. 100,000%. Yeah. So just glad to have I think we're both like grateful to be where we are right now and to do the things that we have done like
Yeah.
so early on,
Yeah, for real.
in our start of our careers. It's just it is a blessing. It is a big blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've both been acting for like quite a while, but what has the road been like for you? Like, tell us, how's it been in the industry?
In the industry, professionally, it has been, I'll call it like a slow burner. Like like most things in life, you got to start from somewhere. So a lot of the first things that I was doing, most of the things it was theatre.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I love theatre. Theatre is like in my blood. I think it's very expressive. Part of the reason why I loved All the Same so much, because it gave me that sense of theatre. But I started off doing a lot of kind of just short films on camera, free paid stuff, more or less just trying to get used to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just picked up from there, really. Yeah.
So, yeah, quite similar to Mo, really. It's been with the professional side of things. I remember I signed with my first agents back in 2017. That was like the biggest milestone for me, just being this, coming from independent theatre and film background too, but mostly catered more toward film. I was just like, cool, I don't really have any formal qualifications to back up who I say I am. So how's this going to work? It was extremely, extremely validating at that point in my life, I'd say, to be in that position, to get my first contract, and the next year be able to do my first professional job. Is be it what it was like a training film for Ladbrokes and Coral at the time. It was just like slow and steady sort of progress, but very much a slow burner in a sense of, things have come and gone throughout the last few years, but the ones that have stuck have really been like the jobs I've been really happy to do, like for instance, Built to Be, and just Accident Man, which was my first feature film I did, and a small bit room. But it was more of a thing of, I feel like I've had to go about creating more opportunities for myself to showcase the aspects of myself as an actor that I want to showcase, and also give a platform to other people in our circle, just to showcase how talented and versatile they are as well. But very much has been a bit of a roller coaster so far. Quite rewarding at the same time, but yeah, it is a slow burner.
So speaking of making opportunities for yourselves, let's talk about All the Same. I watched it and I loved it. It actually did blow me away. I'm not even lying. It was so good. Tell me, how did this come about? And you two working together as well, how did that come about?
Yeah.
So it kind of came about during the first lockdown, was it now? I find it difficult to keep up with how many lockdowns have been coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. And obviously everything that happened a year ago with, George Floyd and the reignition of Black Lives Matter, so to speak, we were speaking through, messages, and Akash said that there was something that he had written that needed to be told, and he said, this time is coming now. And we kind of were in dialogues back and forth, and he sent me the script, and I remember reading it, and from just reading, I could get the spoken word element from it. And I was like, bro, you're saying what I've been thinking, and you're saying what I've been feeling needs to be heard on a wider scale. So I'm in, like, there was never even a discussion about that. And then from there, we had a lot of online kind of auditions, not auditions, but rehearsals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we made it happen in a time that kind of made the world stand still in a creative way, Yeah, so it was really quite something.
Yeah, definitely. Just to echo what Mo said, very much a situation of, okay, we're in this, pandemic situation. None of us would have comprehended could ever kind of happen within our lifetimes, especially this early on anyway. And then to see what happened with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and just the outrage it talks across the world on a global scale. I know for me, it was enough to just feel so mad about everything being so pent up and locked down, and seeing these atrocities get this mainstream attention. It just felt like our time was coming to advocate everything that needed to be said, not just for Black Lives Matter, but for all different races around the world who are struggling as a result of injustice, as a result of deprivation and lack of resources, as a result of warfare and its agendas. We just wanted to remind people I guess, of that basic principle, that basic philosophy of we are all the same. Before borders, before countries and nationalities, we were all one people. We still are. We are all very much connected to one another in more ways than we can comprehend. And that's something I very much wanted to echo through my work, in a way that wasn't too preachy, I guess. That's why there were very much questions in the spoken word dialogue, like, don't we all bleed the same blood, breathe the same air, and energize from the touch of the same sun? It was more so in question and thoughts, because these are things that we wanted to affirm for the audience and leave the answers with the audience in a lot of ways. But just to have, with all the same, it just felt like the right time. Long story short, it felt like the right time because we were coming out of the first lockdown, I do remember, and Mo's availability was opening up slightly as well. So it felt like, let's make the most of it before we do go into another lockdown. So in August last year, we basically were able to secure a nice venue. I took the mantle of the director of this film. Big weight on my shoulders. I did feel it as soon as we began, pre-production, but at the same time, it was such a rewarding process being able to work with some of the same film crew who worked on Built to Be, my DOP, Michael Spry, my trusted first AD, Andrew Aretti. I just felt like I had my team together. So I wasn't alone. I felt like I wasn't throwing myself in the deep end. It was very much a result of collaboration, teamwork, efforts from, all ranges of our film crew and creative department that, made the final product, which is out today, that people can check out online.
Yeah, make sure you guys do, because it's so good. Like, I just loved it. Why did you choose to use spoken word, though, to get your message across?
Yes, okay, spoken word. Just felt like the right thing to do because it's something that's been done quite a lot in the past. I feel like it's timeless in the sense of, from my perspective anyway, I very much see like a modern day telling of hip hop and Shakespeare in one medium. Potentially, depends on how you want to go about articulating what you're trying to say. But spoken word for me just felt like, okay, I want it to still feel quite grounded and cater towards people who are, fond of the hip hop genre and everything that sparks, stems from rap music itself. But at the same time, there needs to be a performance element to everything we are saying. So spoken word felt like quite a nice middle ground between this is live theatre on, film, and this is hip hop, this is rap, and what it should be, hip hop in the sense of, a moving, conscientious movements, with very much different aspects that make hip hop as a culture. I feel like spoken word in many ways has been like like an offshoot, like a nice branch which pays homage, but also stands on its own merits. So spoken word just felt like the right choice. Yeah, for sure.
This question wasn't on my list, but I have to ask, how did you guys prepare for your roles? Because the cameras are so close to your face all the time. You've got so much expression, both of you, and you're delivering some really like powerhouse speeches. Did you ever, I know it's such a serious topic, but did you ever just kind of like, I don't know, break character? Like, how did you prepare?
Do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, man.
I need to think about this one.
Yeah. Do you know, like, in terms of character, that's one of the reasons why I loved the process to this so much, was because it felt like I was back doing, drama lessons, working towards like this play. We had so many rehearsals online, but obviously there's only so much that you can get. I remember AK was recording me and we were on camera and he said, listen, just go for it. You know what I mean? Just go for the energy, tap into that self. And we did it like 3 times and he was like, got it. If we do that on the day, then we've got it. And just, do you know what I mean? So, because we practiced so much in a medium where we weren't in front of each other, when we stood on stage and we were able to feed off each other's live energy, it completely just skyrocketed the kind of characters that we were looking to portray. So in that sense, I felt like I didn't need to, I never felt like I broke character because I felt like the character was derived from the entire environment. And as long as I was in that place, I was playing in true homage to the character I was trying to portray.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amen to that. Yeah, 100%. Getting in the role, getting in the mind of Prisoner Zero was very much, I feel like the combined thought process of directing all of the moving components of stringing together a production adds a gravity to what you're doing in the first place. So you feel quite, I don't know, I felt, for me anyway, I felt that the weight and responsibility and the mantle of, you know, the head of a ship, so to speak, the director. So I feel like a lot of those emotions that came from that were quite transferable into the character I was portraying, who was very much someone who was just so deeply aggravated and saddened by everything that's happened in the world and the situation which Prisoner X and Prisoner Zero have been placed into, which is condemned to these metaphorical cages, so to speak, these cages which are meant to embody and represent Prisoner X, Moses, who is freezing in his cage, and then my character on the opposite end of the spectrum is almost overheated with a rising temperature, which was meant to mirror what some interrogation rooms are meant to be like, with the torture tactics of, you know, extracting information from people, switching up the temperatures. So getting myself into that mindset, I knew that I had to be overheated and Mo had to be freezing, almost like he's on his last few breaths. So it was quite a vivid and visceral image to paint in my mind anyway, but it very much helped me navigate through how to portray those emotions with the camera being so close. I felt like the choice of having a mid shot of our bodies as well meant we could show a little bit more with our hand gestures and moving around as much as we can, whilst the close up gave us the opportunity to connect with the audience a bit. Being able to see our faces so close up, especially with the lovely SFX makeup how MUA did for us on the day, Aaliyah. Yeah, she was great, and it very much, I felt like when we saw ourselves in the mirrors with the makeup and costume, I felt like a part of that did quite a bit of the performance in a way. We came with the emotion, and then the look very much portrayed the rest that we needed with the character. So that's kind of what I had to get my head into, really, just trying to paint as many images in my mind to give me a sense of direction to navigate through a character. That always helps me, I find.
Yeah, the lighting, because I did wonder at the time, like, you were kind of in a warm light, and then Moses, you were in like a white kind of light, and now that you've said what you said, I'm like, okay, that's clever, like, I like that. So yeah, you definitely achieved what you set out to do. Absolutely. So, random question. If you were both in power for one day, or maybe not for one day, but if you were both in power, what is the first thing you would do to rewrite some of the wrongs in our society? Loaded question, I know.
I know. I don't know where to begin. I really don't know where to begin. I think the first thing would be to make sure that everyone who has been forgotten about, forgotten people, are remembered as quickly as possible in as many ways as we can. Homeless people, working class, lower class people who feel very much forgotten about by society, deprived of opportunities to prosper and create a living for themselves, or to be able to follow a career path like Moses and myself. It is very much a luxury and such a blessing to be in the creative industry and create work. So making those opportunities accessible to people who are lacking it in our society anyway would be, like one of the first things for me. Another thing I would say is just making sure that the wealth that is very much congested, and the capital of this country is very much spread out, and made sure that, you know, we have enough land and resources to, you know, cater to at least 2 or 3 times the world population that we have. It's very much a system that's worked. We say worked. That served its purpose for how many years in our modern day society, which has led us to this point, in my mind anyway, where, you know, we are living in congested places in cities like London, paying higher amounts than, you know, you know, our parents or siblings were 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's very much a thing of, it's going to only go, you know, grow from how it is now and may potentially get worse. So I would make sure, you know, to spread things out a bit, make sure everyone has enough land and resources for themselves, but just make sure the forgotten people are remembered. That's it, literally. But like with COVID being a big factor as well, things like mental health, suicide rates, kidnapping and missing people, though it's gone through the roof. But all the mainstream media want to talk about anyway is COVID this, COVID that, and new variant this and new variant that. Oh, this variant has come from this country, so be mindful of people from, you know, that nationality or that particular ethnic background. The media are very smart in how they articulate their messages, and they're planting subconscious seeds in people's minds of who to fear, what groups to fear, who to distance yourself from. I would make sure that, you know, for a change, our media, you know, sparks more truth and mongers less fear and promotes more unity and more understanding rather than anything else, if I had control of the media. But it is what it is. I don't think that day will ever come to pass where I'm in power. But, you know, all we can do is just be mindful of the world we live in and just try and create a better life for the ones we care about every day. That's just my philosophy anyway.
Absolutely.
Love that. You know, what you touched upon about fear being a real factor, I'll definitely love to facilitate an environment in which we are not kind of governed by fear, which shoehorns us into a particular direction, but rather governed by love. Do you know what I mean? Focus on what you love, preach what you love, rather than bash what you hate, kind of vibe. And I do feel that history is important because it shows us what has happened. You can never forget history. You can never change history, right? But when you've gotten scars, I don't know, you have to know how to heal. And the environment, you can't heal in the same environment you got sick in, right? So you know, if I was in power, I would put all my energy into making sure the environment of this social climate is the most important thing in that environment is well-being, and to make sure that people, everyone, all nations of all kinds, have that kind of understanding and mentality that we are all the same. We all have been through pain. We all feel pain. We all feel fear, and ultimately, we all feel love, and we all have the same wishes. Doesn't matter what kind of political mindset you have or religious mindset. If you break it down, we all have the same drives, and if we connect on those same drives, I think our opportunities are limitless. So I would really like to push that message.
See, this is why I just think all the same is just, it's such a simple message, but you can look around you like all day and you can see people forgetting it and not connecting with it. That it's like, it's not there, it's not present. Like the philosophy and the thought behind it, it's just so lacking. So that's why I feel like this film, it just needs to be watched. Go and watch it, everybody. Just go and watch it. Let's pick it up a little bit. What did lockdown have any effect on you both creatively? Because creatives are used to going out there, you know, all the time. How did lockdown affect you both creatively?
I thought for a little while, I felt like my personality was dying a bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Not to sound dramatic, but I just kind of felt like I was so used to, just being so out there every single day, just working in Soho, going to different dance classes, going to uni, working. I remember doing 2 classical plays as well before the lockdown. So I was everywhere, like, and it just felt like, you know, I was finally on top of it. I just kind of felt like, yeah, I still have enough free time to do things I want to do. I'm on top of this. But yeah, as soon as we found out, we were condemned to 4 walls to our homes, and we couldn't really move, I just felt like it gave me an opportunity to go back to the drawing board and start creating some new ideas. I'm so grateful to be in that position of, having a creative outlet as a writer, to have my own medium to, come back to when I need to work on new material. So it felt like, yeah, I felt like I lost something, but I gained something I was missing. So it created a balance for me anyway. But after a while, it did feel quite restrictive, and I felt like I did, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say my personality suffered, because people really did suffer because of COVID. You know what I mean? People really did lose their livelihoods and jobs overnight, and as industries closed down. So I just felt grateful to be where I was despite everything happening around us.
Yeah.
And just reminding myself what to be grateful about every day. Just, I felt like that kept new blessings coming into my life, even till this day. Just reminding myself of what we actually have, and how we can make the most of it. That was my way to kind of 360 around any anxiety that came up in the process of being in a lockdown. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mo?
Yeah, for myself, I feel like, ooh, I feel like I'm at my best when life is throwing its randomness at me. Like, even though deep down I will say, like, I like the comfort of what just being life can bring naturally. I think humans, you kind of need to not know what the next day will bring. You kind of need that. We don't like surprises, but we grow from them. But I do think lockdown was a difficult difficult part in a lot of people's lives. But also on the flip side, I do think it allowed me to kind of dig within my psyche and understand like a lot of the different blockages which are there and kind of hold me back from being the version of myself which I know I can be, if I am constantly working on bettering myself. So there's positives to it and there's negatives, like anything in life.
Yeah.
But like sometimes we are the people standing in the way of reaching our full potential. Sometimes, in the sense of creatives, anyway. I feel like it's more of an insight. I wouldn't say ego. I would say insights, because we have an insight towards what we're capable of achieving. But then it comes down to us as people. Do we have the drive or all of these different components to actually follow through with what we need to reach that image that we see for ourselves, that we set for ourselves? So it's
Okay. What is coming next for both of you? What is next on the horizon? Anything in the works?
Well, I still need to talk to Mo a little bit more about it anyway. I do need to film Mo in. So with All the Same, the main hope for All the Same anyway is to be able to take it to just different places and see what opportunities can stem from it, in the sense of, we do have a larger backstory behind what we want to use All the Same for. I don't know if it will necessarily be under the same title, All the Same. It might be under something slightly different, but very much taking from the spoken word elements of All the Same and the same themes that come from the message. It would be something that could be told through a television format, even a theatrical / musical format, incorporating different sides of the creative arts, being a bit more bold and ambitious, a bit ambitious artistically with how I would like to see it directed and orchestrated. I'm taking inspiration at the moment from a lot of productions Netflix are coming up with, in the sense of they're so bold and artsy and very much on the weird side. that it's finding its niche markets, you know, among different audiences. So if we can go through a similar route, I think we have an amazing story that, you know, the world needs to hear in terms of how we can connect the dots between what's come before with previous generations and the different injustices they faced. You know, like myself coming from a background of indentured laborers taken to Fiji Islands, you know, to assimilate a new culture, integrate a whole new way of life, and then moving to the my family members moving to the UK later on. You know, there's a history in our ancestry that I'd love to tap into with Moses as well, with his descent in Guyana. There's just so many things we can build around who we are as people and use that to navigate where we're going in this story. So what's next for All the Same is, you know, I guess what comes from it and what comes from, you know, the opportunities now. But in the future, I am working on a piece dedicated to COVID, which is very much upbeat in the sense of, in comparison to All the Same anyway, it's a lot more upbeat. It's a bit more on the comedic side. And yeah, I guess the message of that is just every day that we're alive is a blessing. Every day where we can wake up and see our loved ones and be able to go about the lives that we go about is a blessing. So the title for that is S.OS, so SOS, which stands for Serendipities of Self-Isolation. Serendipities of Self-Isolation. It is a slightly long title, that's why it's abbreviated to SOS, but it's going to be told through a spoken word medium as well. Mo will be featuring it as well. Yeah, that's something that's been keeping me busy on the creative side of things that you can expect from me.
Yeah. And with myself, to kind of like broadly talk about it, I feel like truly the future of all kind of creatives is creating your own platforms. I think that's where it's at, because for so long I feel like we look towards, in the same way that, you know, Black Lives Matter has really changed the world in terms of not waiting for another establishment to create change and doing it yourself. And we've seen a lot of other movements in that time do the same things. And I think people are realizing it doesn't matter what you stand for. If you stand for something, you have to make it happen. Like, because if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
stand for something or fall for nothing as well.
Exactly. So, like, what, you know, like AK's really kind of inspired me on is like just doing it yourself. Like, there's so many people who will employ you for different jobs, and that's amazing, you know what I mean, as a creative. But if you have an idea, write it. If you have a musical idea, sing it. You know, draw it, whatever it is. Like, make your mark on the world through creativity, and you will live eternally through the things you create. You know?
See, you kind of answered my next question, because it was going to be, what advice would you give to young people? And that is the best advice you can give. Go and create your own platform. Just do it.
Yeah, I have nothing to say. I echo everything Mo said and more. You know, just somewhere. If you can't, you know, if you can't make these high level introductions straight away, just start somewhere and then find a way to build, collaborate, teamwork. Remember, there are so many people like Moses and myself out there. We just need to kind of connect with each other and be open-minded to what we can do creatively, and then, you know, build from there. You know? That's what art's about. Just yeah.
Well, if you two are going to continue working together, I'm very much looking forward to see what you produce in the future. And I do have to say that an All the Same musical would be amazing. I would so watch that. It would be, because, you know, the power of song, like songs just, when you're trying to like talk about change, it just goes. So I would definitely watch an All the Same musical, FYI. So you've already sold one ticket, so, you know, the rest is up to you.
The front row seats will be there for you, Saskia. Or if you want a balcony seat, that can be arranged too.
Definitely.
We're manifesting it as we speak. This guy right here, Moses, he's a very humble, creative person. But like, when it comes to on the musical side of things, what first led me to Mo was his music before I even saw him act, and I knew I wanted to tell this story all the same through a spoken word format. I was just like, who better than somebody who also understands, the structure of, the hip hop genre a bit, and yeah, not just with hip hop as well. He's got a terrific singing voice. So like, it's something we can make happen. I do see us, following the musical route in the future. Definitely. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm excited. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been amazing talking to you both. Where can people find you on social media? So, all the same, and then your individual.
Yes, that's right. So you can find the film All the Same at All the Same Film, and that's the same for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even on YouTube. For myself, it's at official A Prasad.
And for myself, it's _Moses Alexander.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and do have a great rest of the day. And I look forward to talking to you more in the future about what you create.
Amazing. Likewise as well. 100%.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you, everybody, for watching as well. And take care. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Today's episode was made possible by Voice Magazine, an online platform for young people interested in art and culture. You can read VoiceOver at voicemag.uk and find it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as VoiceMagUK. If you like this podcast, please consider helping us to make more with a donation of any amount at voicemag.uk/donate. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for use of the track Thief in the Night. You can find more of his work on incomputech.com.